Okay, my name is Mr. Shipper, and I'm going to be walking you through a series of PARCC videos that get our students, parents, and teachers prepared to take the PARCC practice test. I have 3 websites here that you should check out, whether you are a parent, student, or a teacher who will be preparing students to take the PARCC assessment. This is going to be geared more towards middle school students, grades 6 through 8. But a lot of this stuff applies to everyone who will be taking the PARCC, grades 3 to 5 and 9. So check out these resources here. I'm going to go through a tutorial released by PARCC and just talk about how students will be navigating this test and certain icons to be looking for. First, you will see the Start Test Now. This is kind of a general screen, pretty straightforward, and we're going to be looking at 11 different questions here. So, here we go. To navigate through from question to question, a lot of this stuff, if you are in even a semi-frequent online user, a lot of this stuff will make sense to you. So to get to the next question, they're saying use this blue arrow, which is found in the top left question. In fact, if I hold my cursor over it, go to next question. So we will. Students will be asked to sign in. They will be probably given a student ID by the test administrator, which would be a teacher or a principal, somebody like that within the building, and then a password. So all that will be set up by the test administrator. Things to look for up here. Students can review questions. They can flag questions. It tells you I am on fourth question out of 6 questions. I'm on part 2, you know, whatever. This stuff is kind of not a big deal to students. This might be, show some progress. Reviewing and flagging, if you check out my other videos, I will talk about this some more. But if you review a question, you can see that I have answered questions or not answered. That's what status will say. It'll say like question 11, whatever, answered. Then you can flag one. That tells the student that, hey, I need to go back to that question. Maybe I saw it, didn't like the way it looked, so I'm going to go back to it. There's some other tools up here that students can use. There's rulers, there's protractors that they can pull down if they're taking the math portion of the test. Okay, the pointer, if you have like a coordinate grid, you need to point out a couple points. You'll use that pointer there. This thing that looks like a protractor, guess what? That is a protractor. A ruler. If the calculator is allowed for a question, you will be provided a calculator. Students will not be using their own personal or school-provided calculators. PARCC provides a calculator that's online, so you can press that and it pulls up like this. If you're in 8th grade, there are more functions on your calculator to match the questions, the algebraic questions you will be asked. So if you're like a 3rd through 7th grade student, you don't need anything beyond a square root button. So that's the basic calculator you will be provided. Alright, so here's a little bit more information on what your review screen, what I was referring to a minute ago. You'll see like you didn't answer question 1, you skipped it, 2 you answered, 3 you flagged and did not answer it. So there's where it says flagged, that means go back to it. You can click view right there and that will take you back. And then if you want to jump ahead to question 5, you could just go to view and it'll take you right to 5. But make sure you answer every question before you submit your final test, which we'll talk about in a minute. You have finished, it says. And I also believe it's going to say the word congratulations with an exclamation point. You're all excited that you're done. But then you got to pay attention because it says this section has 5 unanswered questions. So it says you reached the last question, but that doesn't necessarily mean you've finished. So pay attention to that box underneath that you have finished, and capitals and exclamation points and a party banner. Make sure that you are actually finished. Alright, to exit the test, if you need to exit in the middle of a test or at the end of a test section, in the top right corner of your screen, select the button next to your name, which will be right here, and choose the log out of TestNav. If you got to go for some reason because you got to go to the bathroom or something comes up, check in with your teacher or your test administrator on this prior to taking the test. I suggest students to go to the bathroom before you take the test, or you can just sit down. It's just easier on everybody. But if something does come up, you can log out of the test and log back in without losing your place. All right, so now, here we go. Congratulations, you have finished the test. Submit your final answers. If you look at this screen, though, it says the last section has 6 unanswered questions. So you're going to want to review those before you submit that. Go back and answer those. Even if you have to guess, just give it a really good guess, and then submit your final answer. So pay attention. It's going to say this no matter what. Okay? All right. So that will conclude this first video on PARCC training. Again, those websites, if you want to check those out, those are right here. This is for a tutorial, which is what I was just going through. We'll go through some ELA and math practice tests, and then I'll show you some other PARCC